Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you all doing? Hope everyone is well. Welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. There's been quite a few talks going on with Elon Musk taking over the department within government, and he's going to be overlooking some of the spending habits in America. Now, as we go back and we get a review of how it is that money has been spent over these last few years, we can see that there has been definitely a increase and a waste of governmental funds on programs and other things and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of conversations going on where people would say that, oh, you don't know the budget or you haven't been paying attention to the spending. You don't know what you're talking about because you don't know what business is and all this, that, and the other. Trump is the reason that all of this is going bad. Or the truth of the matter is that a lot of people is not paying attention to it because of the fact that they don't think that it really involves them or it entraps them. Well, let's start with the basics. In 2019, the U.S. federal government spent $4.47 trillion. Fast forward to 2024, and that number has ballooned to $6.752 trillion, a staggering 51.8% increase in just 5 years. Now, here's the kicker. If we adjust for income growth, federal spending in 2024 should have been around $5.9 trillion. But the actual spending exceeded this amount by $829 billion. That's a 14% increase. That's nearly $1 trillion extra dollars spent beyond what would have been reasonable growth. But one would say, where did all this money go? Well, we have a breakdown of where that money went. I know a lot of people was upset because they was like, oh, well, they shouldn't be doing this and this is wrong. And oh, they're going to be looking into our money and he's a foreigner. All this hate for Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the rest of his cabinet and the people that he's putting into position to really have an overview of how it is that our money has been spent these last few years. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people think that they know, but they don't really do the research, nor do they take the time to invest into where this money goes and to see exactly how it's being spent. Truth of the matter is, they don't feel like that it affects them until they actually see the information. Now, with this, I'm going to be giving you the information and also be giving you the reference where you can find this information since, everyone just doesn't know how to do research. Well, when those who are lazy can sit back and do nothing but talk and have panels and do nothing but, complain, bitch, and moan about little things, such as things that they think that they know about. The truth of the matter is they don't. Well, then they find out that the information that either they come across or the information that they think they know is either false or it's been given to them as misinformation, as propaganda to be used to attack those who would actually do the research. See, the thing is, it doesn't really take much to do. It's just a simple research, analysis, data analysis, a little bit of front office work and stuff like that. But a lot of people really don't want to do that because they'd rather wait for the information to come out and then they would expound upon it instead of just going back and doing the research for themselves, which is not hard to do, actually. So, as we get into this program this morning, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We greatly appreciate it for the channel growth. This is a second platform to this is a sub channel to a primary channel. So we're trying to help this one grow as well. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. Why not? All right. So here we have a little something. And this little something that we have, I'm going to fit this to the screen and we're going to stretch this out. All right, cool. So now that we have something like this to where it's easily readable by everyone, here, let me go ahead and get rid of the names right quick so everyone can actually see the information because it's easily digestible. Just have to be willing to read it. Let's get rid of this for a second. All right, cool. There we go. And you know what? Let's go ahead and drop the banner as well. That way everyone can see. So here's a compiled information data sheet so that you could be able to see everything and see exactly where this money was being spent. Now, for those who are in the building, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe and support the show by hitting the Cash App. That is $WHILHELM or Butterfly Progressive. That is $BUTTERFLYPROGRESSIVE. That is scrolling at the bottom. And also the link is in the comment section. Now, let's go ahead and continue. So, when looking at this table, this is a lot of information to take in. Truth of the matter is that you got to go back and you got to really look and see and be able to do the math and hit the decimal points and all this, that, and the other. But you can get a pretty summarized breakdown of what's been going on since 2019. Now, 2019 is a very important year because why? We can see exactly what's been spent. And also, I want you to pay attention to who was the president at the time. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and give you a brief little rundown. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right. So, what are some of the key takeaways that you can find here, right? If you pay attention to, let's look at, let's start with Social Security. In 2019, we had a fiscal year. Well, the fiscal year budget that was in 2019 was $1.044 trillion. And then in 2024, we have 1.253. So we have a small increase there. Then we got the fiscal year of 2024. And we got the outlays. We got 1.461. Look at the nominal increases. They went up by $417 billion, so a 40% increase. Then we look at Medicare. That's a 34.3% increase. So as you can see, you can read the table from left to right, and you can also go from top to bottom. You can be able to correlate the information to see exactly what's going on here. But I wanted to look at something that's something that stuck out to me that was very bad. And I've been saying this for quite some time, that when it comes to foreign affairs and other domestic discretionary, such as science, environment, energy, and et cetera, and all this and the other. Well, in this table, they're called international affairs. Look at how much we were spending on international affairs. We spent 73.5 on other domestic discretionary expenses, science, environment, energy, and etc. We spent $73.5 billion on that. Look at international affairs. Look at it in the bottom left. You have $52.7 billion in 2019. Please pay attention to that number. That number goes up to $63.2 billion. Then it goes up again to $72 billion in 2024. That was almost a 36.6% increase. Also, let's look at some of the other major spending categories. So when you look at Social Security, right? Social Security is at the very top. It increased to 40%, increased by 40% to $1.461 trillion, which is slightly exceeding the expected growth. Then you have Medicare that grew at 34.3% to $0.874 trillion, almost matching the expected levels, right? But you look at those things that are exceeding at a very high level. You look at Medicare and health jumped 56.9%, exceeding the expected growth by $137 billion. So it was only supposed to go up by 17.7. It went up by 56.9. I wonder what happened between 2019 and 2024. Then you have the Department of Defense. Increased by 27%, which is only $0.876 trillion. But it fell short of the expected growth, declining in real terms by $42 billion. So we spent less on the Department of Defense. That wasn't expected growth. That was supposed to be higher than what was actually supposed to be there. Truth of the matter is, and like I've been saying for the longest, we've been spending less money on defense. We've been spending less money on our armies, on our military. Sorry. We've been investing less into our military and more into our Medicare, Medicaid, and health, and also into the international affairs budget, which is alarming to me. Then we look at veteran affairs. saw a 65% increase to net down to $30 trillion, growing beyond expectation by $64 billion. It was a 24% increase. So the truth of the matter is, when you look at this, and there's also some other things that we can look at as well. You look at income security, right? SSI, SNAP, all of those things, good stuff like that. Excuse me. That rose by 30.3%, but adjusted for income growth. So it declined by $15 billion, which is negative 2.2%. So now we look at some surges, right? Surges specifically in education and interest payments. So education, training, social service experienced a 126% increase. Now, why is this important? Because you know about all of that DEI training and all of those different CRTs and all this, that, and the other, all this, that, and the other training and things that was going on in schools and things in the workplace and corporate America and stuff like that. When a lot of people say that a lot of money was being wasted on these unnecessary programs that was really causing a lot of discourse within the workplace environment, a lot of people were saying that, oh, well, that's not true. It wasn't really that bad. No, it was that bad. We got 130, what was that, 126% increased for these programs that was unnecessarily being spent. This is money, this is tax dollars that was going towards these things, these trainings, going towards these programs that was really affecting us as Americans and wasn't really doing anything for us. So it was money that was being wasted. I'll say that number again, 126% increase since 2019. With a real growth far exceeding expectations, $125 billion. That's 69.4% increase from 2019 to 2024 alone. So when you have these conversations talking about money being wasted on programs that wasn't making any sense whatsoever, why are we spending $126 billion? And I know some would say, oh, well, you're not looking at the American budget, you're not looking at the deficit that we're in. I know the deficit that we're in that's high, but explain to me how it is that $125 billion went into these last few years, these last 4 or 5 years, to where now between 2019 and 2024 you can justify $125 billion or a 69.4% increase and spending budget on DEI, CRT, and all of these other programs. So when you look at these things, you have to ask these questions. Where was the money coming from? Where was the money going to? Who was being paid? Who was receiving this money? Also, let's look at the net interest on the debt. So another thing that looked at, because people always talk about the American debt, right? The national debt. 6 points, whatever, trillion dollars. That surged by 134.6%, surpassing the expected growth by $381 billion. That was a 76% increase. So between 2019 and 2024, we had a 76% increase in our budget. I wonder where that came from, especially when you look at education, training, social services. When you look at things such as international affairs and all this, that, and the other, we look at how it is that the money is being spent and wasted. Now, of course, we got things such as infrastructure, other domestic discretionary, such as science, energy, environment, and stuff like that. International affairs. But here's the conclusion that I come up with. Health and social spending, such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Veterans Affairs, experienced significant increases beyond income-adjusted expectations. The defense spending did not keep pace with expected growth, seeing a decline in real terms. Truth of the matter is, they don't care about defending America. Our Army, our military, our Marines, our Navy, our Air Force has gotten weaker because of the lack of spending. Because we keep sending all of our resources, financial and non-financial, to other countries. Then we look at such things such as education and net interest on debt surge well beyond expected increases, highlighting shifts in government priorities and financial obligations. Truth of the matter is, the total spending outpaced projected growth, largely driven by entitlement programs and debt interest payments. So this is just something I just want to put out there for everyone to be able to just go ahead and they can research this for themselves and see how it is that, well, see why it is that those who have been up under the thumb of the Biden administration are highly upset, because when they look at information like this, they can see where their money went, and they can see how it is that this administration has been wasting their money on things that does not benefit Americans, not just themselves, not just people and their loved ones, their friends, family, children, co-workers, siblings, anything like that. How Biden's administration has been wasting money on all except Americans. The big picture is this, when you look at it, because this is coming in closing. The federal budget tells a story. And the story right now is one of overspending, misalignment of priorities, and a looming debt crisis. The question is, are we, the taxpayers, okay with this? So, with that being said, make sure that y'all, review this information for yourselves. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's have this discussion. Where should the government be spending and where should they be cutting back? Make sure you like, share, subscribe for more real talk. If you appreciate the work done here, please support the show by Cash App, which is $WHILHELM. The link is in the comment section. Or you can do $BUTTERFLYPROGRESSIVE. I'll go ahead and I'll get that link for you as well. There's the link for the other Cash App if you wish to support the show. And I appreciate each and every last one of you for stopping by and reviewing the content. This is only going to be a very short live, so please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will holla at y'all later. Deuces and have a good morning.